Looking for something to read? Well, these are the books that I've written. Hop on down to the description to find the Amazon links for all 4 of them, and keep your eyes open for more in the future. With that said, on to the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Omni Viewer, and as a Godzilla fan, I naturally know about that classic hard rock song by Blue Oyster Cult devoted to the King of the Monsters. Debuting in 1977 on the album Spectres, BOC's Godzilla is one of the band's biggest hits ever, and it's even considered as iconic as the classic theme composed by Akira Ifukube. Pretty much every G-fan has it on their regular music playlists, and a version of it even got to be in an official Godzilla movie in 2019. However, another Godzilla-themed song appeared in 2021, and I'll bet most of you didn't even know it happened. Heck, I didn't even know what happened at first, but now that I do know about it, I'm going to see if it's a worthy addition to the realm of kaiju-themed music. The song in question is called Gojira by the Grail Knights. You mean Gojira by the Grail Knights featuring Yeri from Rakshasa? We must be thorough. Indeed we must, and since most of my current audience is based out of North America, I will start by answering the obvious question of just who this band is. If you haven't heard of the Grail Knights yet, I think you might like them. They're a heavy metal band based out of Germany who started out in melodic death metal but gradually moved into power metal. Oh, and they dress like this. DC Comics would be proud. Your eyes do not deceive you. They really are dressed in matching superhero costumes with bright capes and painted-on masks. Yes, this is another band that has what some would call a gimmick, but I think that's underselling it. The Grail Knights don't just have a gimmick. Like Alice Cooper, they are a full theatrical experience. You see, the Grail Knights were directly inspired by Saturday morning cartoons of the 80s and 90s, particularly the action-themed ones. Their shows are essentially a fusion of a concert and a stage play. In premise, the Grail Knights are a 5-man group of heroes tasked with protecting the Holy Grail from their archenemy, the evil Dr. Skull. But who are these heroes? May as well introduce them by their stage personas. In green, we have Sir Optimus Prime on lead vocals, synths, acoustic guitars, and accordion. In red is Count Cranium on guitar. Also on guitar is Sovereign Storm in purple. In blue is Duncan MacLeod on bass. Last but not least, in yellow is Lord Drumkeeles on drums. Together, and with the help of their loyal fans, the Battle Choir, they shall reclaim the Holy Grail and save the universe. Each song tells of their adventures in some way, whether it's a location they land in, an enemy they face, or an ally they make. Naturally, a band like this would be right up my alley even without a song devoted to my favorite movie monster franchise. And yet they wrote one anyway. Gojira was written after a successful tour in Japan, during which they naturally visited Hotel Gracery. You know, the one with the Godzilla head built onto it. Upon their return to Germany, they started work on the album Muscle Bound for Glory, on which the song appears, and which features various guest vocalists from all over the world. Now that you know the players, let's dive into the lyrics and see if this is a song worthy of bearing the king's name. Are you going to play excerpts from the song itself? I wish I could, Snazzy, but I don't want the YouTube bots to bring down the copyright hammer on my head. You can find the song easily enough on YouTube, so if you want to listen to it first, go ahead, pause the video, look it up, and come back. I'll wait. Welcome back. Killer song, isn't it? Now let's get into the lyrics. As you would expect from a song using the King of the Monsters' original Japanese name, the song begins by quoting the 1998 TriStar movie? I'm as surprised as anyone else, but it's right there. It's taken from that earlier scene where Jean Reno interrogates the shipwrecked survivor. In fact, looking at this bit of album art, the Godzilla design is clearly inspired by the '98 rendition, also known as Zilla. Then again, it's breathing fire, something that only the cartoon version could do, and since that cartoon rocks, I guess that's permissible. And right after throwing us that curveball, the band does an immediate fourth wall break with the first verse. Created by Toho back in the 1950s. So this is about the original after all. You know, I get the impression that maybe the band is messing with us a little bit, though they're also mixing and matching elements from different Godzillas throughout the ages and distilling them all down to their basic core elements, essentially saying that they all count as Godzilla. No, not you. Up next is the line, Leader of the Big Five, also known as Big G. Ah, so they have done their homework. The Big Five, for those who don't know, is a term referring to Toho's 5 most popular kaiju. Godzilla is the frontrunner, naturally, followed by Mothra, King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla, and Rodan in that order. If the monsterverse is your only exposure to the Godzilla series, you've seen that lineup by now. The next line is nuclear-powered, 300 feet tall, the monster gigantus to rule them all, run as fast as you can, Gojira the king raids again. See what I mean when I say the band is messing with us? The name Gigantus originated when Godzilla Raids Again, the first movie's immediate sequel, was imported by a producer who hated the very idea of sequels, so he demanded alterations to make its sequel status as obfuscated as possible. To that end, it was renamed Gigantus the Fire Monster, and this name has remained as sort of an inside joke among G fans even after the original cut was made available globally. With this line, the Grail Knights reference both of the movie's titles at once. Before that, they note Godzilla as being 300 feet tall, which would put him in the Heisei size range. Of course, the official size of the Heisei Godzilla is actually 328 feet, or 100 meters. Okay, so it's not precise, but it's close enough. Next we get the chorus. Gojira, you build a legacy of fear. Gojira, for all eternity you're near. Gojira, far from the sea, lead us ahead. The giant beast craves to attack. Gojira, our savior, guide us far from here. Ah, now this part is layered. The first 2 lines are another fourth wall break referring to Godzilla's deeper meaning. The legacy of fear is in reference to how Godzilla began as a warning about nuclear warfare and rampant atomic testing, then eventually evolved into the embodiment of nature's wrath, 2 roles he still plays on and off to this day. For all eternity you're near refers to how long the series has run, the eternal presence of those things Godzilla represents, and how they are not distant existential threats, but things we as humans must be ever mindful of lest we be caught off guard. The 2 lines that follow, however, are story-based. Remember, this song introduces Godzilla into the Grailknights as an ally to our heroes, so these lines are the knights appealing to the Big G for aid. They also throw in a dash of the Showa Godzilla, but only a dash. The image painted here is that Godzilla is an ally, but one who must be respected from a distance rather than treated as a good buddy. To paraphrase my own kaiju novel, Godzilla is not on the Grail Knights' side, rather the Grail Knights are on Godzilla's side. Then we come to the Japanese portion of the song sung by Yuri from Rakshasa. You know, I should probably take a moment to explain who she is too, shouldn't I? According to the official website, the Japanese band Rakshasa has had a tumultuous history. Originally founded in 2015 as a goth rock band, they went through several lineup changes during which their sound evolved into traditional heavy metal, specifically of the Nordic variety. Every member went exclusively by one name, and Yuri was their lead singer. I can't help but notice you're speaking in past tense about this Rakshasa. Why is that? Because in 2022 they disbanded due to irreconcilable differences, at least according to the website that's still up, and they've only got 1 demo album and 1 full-length official album to their name. However, they were still active by the time this album was being recorded, so Yuri was invited to do a verse on Gojira. And now that we know all of that, let's finally get to her section. This portion of the song is sung in Japanese, and the lyrics are also written in Japanese, both in the booklet and pretty much everywhere else you'll find the lyrics written down. Fortunately, we have technology so gaijin dogs like me can understand it. Okay, so the translation is, Skal and soldiers ride the Mosla with the Kedamono in their hands and the mosquito is dying.
Say what now?
Oh, hang on a minute. There were some typos. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Alright, the new translation is, Skull and the army take the beast as pawns and ride. Mothra and the fire monster is absolutely dead. That's better, though I think beast is actually meant to be plural beasts. It's probably still not perfect, but it'll have to do. So what can we glean from it? Well, Skull is referring to the knight's enemy Dr. Skull, and take the beasts as pawns and ride sounds like a reference to controlling monsters. That was a pretty common sight as the Showa series wore on, so it seems like Dr. Skull has taken a play from the Exilian Invasion Handbook. Mothra and the fire monster is absolutely dead clearly brings Mothra into the mix, but as mentioned, I think the translation might still be a bit rough. I wonder if the intention is to reference Mothra's tendency to die in battle, though that doesn't explain the fire monster reference, which seems to be a Gigantus callback. Well, that's the best I can make of it anyway, so let's keep going. We then return to the King's English with the line, nuclear-powered, breaking iron chains, pure plutonium running through his veins. Well, this one is self-explanatory. We all know that Godzilla is radioactive, as described by the poetic idea of having plutonium in his veins. The part about chain breaking refers to his raw strength, but it might also be another story beat. Perhaps in this part, Dr. Skull attempts to capture Godzilla by binding him in chains and it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Then we get a spoken interruption from Skull himself. Massive unidentified terrestrial organism, my prehistoric creature, get the Grail Knights, get them! Well, well, looks like we have a monsterverse reference. Massive unidentified terrestrial organism is what MUTO stands for, and it seems that Skull is the one who unleashed it against the Grail Knights and Godzilla. Of course, we all know how that fight will go. From there we get some repeats of the chorus, but I've already gone over what those mean. Then there's a roar that's once again reminiscent of the 1998 version of Godzilla, and with that, the song comes to an end. I opened this video by asking if Gojira was a song worthy of the Godzilla legacy. And having gone through the lyrics, I would have to say the answer is a resounding yes. On the surface, this is the band using musical loopholes to make their own Godzilla movie by way of music, but when you take a moment to really think about the lyrics, you can see that these guys are genuine fans. They might not go for the deep cuts in terms of references, but the way the lyrics describe Godzilla is spot on, managing to distill him to his very core and embrace what we all love about him. In short, this song understands Godzilla in much the same way the Blue Oyster Cult song does, and I think it deserves to be on any kaiju fan's regular music playlist. And while you're at it, check out the rest of the Grail Knights stuff too. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. So now that they've done a Godzilla song, I wonder if they'll ever do a song featuring Gamera. I bet they'd get along with him pretty well. $10 says they'd include a line about Gamera preventing wars and traffic accidents for the future of mankind. That's what really matters, you know. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see us keep doing what we're doing, you might consider doing all the usual YouTube things, as well as hopping down to the description to find links to DeviantArt, Patreon, Twitter, and links for the different books in the Tales from the Omni Vault universe. Your support is naturally appreciated. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.